Yeah.
And there was this great camaraderie between musicians. Like you'd read about, hey, Jimi Hendrix just came on the scene. So Clapton calls up The Who, and they get in touch with Graham Nash, and they all go to, something like that. And they all go out and listen together. Like all of these bands were sort of feeding off one another. The whole scene up in California with
so the Troubadours like Harry Nilsson and John
yeah,
Lennon
and you read about those nights. And then like I was reading about like you hang out sometimes with Adele or this one or that one. Is it the same kind of thing, or do you feel more isolated as a musician now?
I feel like a big way that it's changed is that back then I feel like everyone kind of just felt like really grateful to be getting to make music as a job.
Right. And
I feel like it's just a lot more competitive now. And maybe I think it was that competitive then, but it was more competitive about like writing songs. Like someone told me a story about how like Joni Mitchell and Crosby, Stills and Nash and stuff. There's all these different songs like Bob Dylan and all that stuff, where there was one party that they all went to, and there's like 8 different songs by a bunch of different ones of them, all about the same party, and they were like, well, my song about you is better than your song about her, and her song about me is better than...
Yeah, well, it's almost like painters. When they used to, in the old days, they would all hang out together, like the Hudson River painters and all those guys. They would all paint and learn and kind of hang. They'd even paint the same scene sometimes to see how they kind of perceived it. I don't sense that the music scene is as much fun like that. You don't go to, Graham Nash and Joni go shopping one day together, and then and then he writes Our House. I don't get that sense.
I feel like it's maybe just it's like feels a little more like a business for a lot of people a lot of the time.
Right.
And I feel like back then you wrote a song for one reason, and then if it went number one, that was like amazing.
Right.
I don't feel like people were. And maybe I'm wrong because I, wasn't alive, so I could be completely wrong. But it doesn't feel like people were going, let's change this chorus a bit because then it can be like a number one smash.
Yeah, it was a different vibe, at least from my perception from being around a while. Like I was even reading, I never knew the band Mazzy Star. Did you know them?
A little bit.
Just
a couple big ones, but the guy just died.
The guy just died, and I'm reading about him. The guy's whole attitude was like, we put together a band. We didn't even fucking care about success. We didn't care about a record deal. We just wrote, and when their song became a hit, the guy was like, oh, so what? I'm not writing for that reason. It seemed like a different kind of business, I
also think, like, obviously it's changed a lot because of, like, streaming and everything like that, but I think a lot of the time now, like, I guess back then, if you loved someone's show or their music, you might go to the show and hang out and stuff, and now I guess there's just a lot of people, like, that feel involved a lot of the time, so if you're like, oh, I really like this song, then suddenly people are like, well, you guys should collaborate and get in the studio together. And it becomes, sometimes it becomes like, it's not like an organic hangout. It becomes your kind of, people trying to like put you together.
Right.
So when it happens and it's like organic and you run into people and you get on and end up hanging out, and if you play music or not, most of the time you probably don't. It's really nice. But
well, are you working on something with Adele? Is there a collaboration there? It seems to be a rumor around that you're working on something with her.
I feel like that's just any time two musicians hang out. Either they're dating or they're recording together.
Yeah. Do you like writing with other people? Have you ever